Hi, I am Madeline James of Madeline James Writes, and today I am announcing my new YouTube channel, Madeline James World Builds. This channel will be home to all of my world building heavy and my conlanging related content. And other than reposted videos, the first new video on that channel is going to be the next video in my cultural and societal world building guide, which is going to be on the Middle Ages and era building. So that will be live tomorrow. I will get into the specifics of what this channel split is going to look like and why I'm doing this, but first I have two quick things to cover, and there are going to be chapters and everything below, so if you want to skip around, you can. First, I have some action items for all of you world builders, conlangers, and writers alike. Because while I think this move is going to be beneficial in the long term and going to be the best thing for me and the best thing for my audience, it's going to be a bit rough at first. This channel is probably gonna tank in the algorithm, and I'm gonna have to retrain the algorithm for the audience for this channel. I'm gonna have to grow my new Madeline James World Builds channel from scratch, get it monetized. Right now I think I have like 20 subscribers on it, which is just like, you know, a few people that have hopped on it so far. So yeah, I would really like your help. This whole thing is a bit terrifying, and I sort of feel like I'm taking everything that I've built over the course of the last, how many years? 3-4 years, and am destroying it. But hopefully that's not the case. So action items. If you are a writer or someone who plans on continuing to follow my writing journey content, if you can, just give the videos on this channel a little bit of extra love in the next few weeks, just to show the algorithm that people are still watching these videos and to start sort of retraining it for who is going to be watching this sort of content in the future, because right now it thinks everything is world builders for the most part, because that's who most of my viewers on this channel are. And then if you do not want to continue watching my writing journey type content, right? You are only here for the world building, the conlanging, that sort of stuff. I have a few things for you, but first, you should unsubscribe. That really hurts to say. It really does. But I think that's going to be the right move. And obviously, you know, you aren't really interested in anything that's going to be on this channel going forward, so that's great. Finish watching this video though. And then for any of you that are, regardless of whether or not you're going to unsubscribe or keep watching this channel, if you are interested in my world building specific content or my conlanging, please go subscribe to my Madeline James World Builds channel, which will be linked all over, I guess. And if you can, consider showing those videos that I've already moved over there from this channel some love, my world building guides over there and stuff like that. You know, maybe binge watch a playlist or two throughout your day, you know, show YouTube that that's going to be a channel that people are actually going to watch, show it that this is where, you know, world builders and conlangers are going to watch things, and subscribe so that you can start to see the new videos that are going to be posted there, including the one on the Middle Ages era building that will premiere tomorrow. Also, if you have any of my guide videos linked anywhere that's important, it would be good to fix those links to reference the new videos now. And if you left any comments, whether or not they're just really nice and you want to be supportive, or they are particularly helpful or adding more information or resources or stuff like that on the old guide videos, those are still up right now on my channel, so you can go in and copy those comments, and if you want to put them on the new videos, please feel free to do it. That'd be great. I am very sad to be losing all those comments. Some of them are just very nice, and it's sort of like, it's very supporting, so I don't know. I'm gonna have to save them somehow. I have no idea how, but somehow. Okay, so now on to the other thing I wanted to mention. I had my big announcement video a few videos ago where I sort of talked about how I'm going to be going full-time with my writing and with my channels. And one of the things I talked about in that video is that basically I'm getting to basically live my dream life of being a full-time writer and all of that stuff. And something that I didn't touch on there that I think this is an appropriate moment to do so, but when I had my dream, you know, 5 years ago, 10 years ago, all the way back since elementary school when I wanted to be a full-time writer, like, there is so much about that I'm so excited to get to experience. But the truth is the life and the career and the business I'm going to get to have and build, starting in June is going to be so much more than that because I have this world building and conlanging community that I had never imagined having. Like that dream, career that I had imagined didn't include any of that stuff because I had no idea any of it was a thing. And I have been so blown away by how exciting it is and how fun it is, and the world building community and the conlanging community as I'm getting more, familiar with. But they are so amazing. Like all the people are so smart. It's just, and they're so passionate, right? Like it's just everyone is so willing to help each other out and talk and share. And it just feels like this incredibly collaborative, field where everyone is just helping each other out. And it's amazing. And I am so deeply honored that I am able to contribute in my small way to these communities in, like especially my world building guide, that there are people out there that have really liked some of my content and that my content has helped other creators make their content too. Like it blows my mind. And I had no concept at all way back when of that all this was even out there, right? Like I think I've talked about this before, but like before I started my world building guide, I watched a few channels, right? But like for the most part, I knew very little about the community. Like I watched channels by Artifexian, all of his old content pre the World Builders log. And that's what sort of started my absolute love for world building at this sort of level of depth, right? And started my journey of creating my world building guide. And, when I first started creating the blog post, it was literally just for me because I wanted to do it for myself and organize it for myself so that I understood it. So I literally just made those for myself. And then when I was starting my YouTube channel, I was like, oh, well, I can like make videos on this, I guess, right? And I had no idea. And getting to meet all the people in the world building community and have, just like people that I get to talk to and hang out with and get to know in streams and that hop on, like it is just so much better than I could have ever imagined. And also it is in a lot of ways probably the only reason that I'm going to be able to consider this, because without the world building content and the conlanging stuff, right, this whole new channel, like that is kind of what is validating my ability to create my Patreon that I'm going to be creating in the way I'm going to be creating it, right? Like it's just this whole like serendipitous stream of wonderment, and I just never could have imagined it. And I am so excited to get to do all of this more and get to interface with everyone more, to be able to contribute more and consume more of what other people are doing and just be even more immersed in the wonderful communities that are out there. I'm just so lucky and so excited. And yeah, that's kind of just what I wanted to add. That not just am I going to get to live my dream life, but that dream life is going to be so much better than I could have ever dreamed, right? I feel like that sounds so cringy and cheesy, but it's true. It's true, so I wanted to say it. But okay, so I have a couple of notes here, but let's get on to what this split is going to look like, what exactly is moving to the new channel, what is staying here, and we will talk about why I'm doing this. Something that I started to notice once my world building guide content started to really kick off is that it has now, it vastly outperforms everything else on this channel, right? Like all of my world building guide videos will get probably over 1,000 views within the first week. And then, I think I have some of them that are over 20,000 views. I don't know. My most watched videos almost every single month are always my world building guide videos. Like it is like every month. It does not matter how far back those videos are from. Like my top video, I think in my top 5 every single month for the past 3 years has been the first video in my world building guide series. 3 years ago, that video is still my top 5 every month. And that sort of starts to mess with the algorithm when the community that watches those kinds of videos is not necessarily the same as the community that I make the rest of my content for, right? And there's some surprising demographic differences. But basically what happens with the algorithm is when you're producing content, right? It doesn't necessarily know what what audience you're intending each individual video to go out as. Like, right, like there's small things and like playlists and like small ways to tell it. But for the most part, it will take a video and show it to like a small set of your audience, right? People who normally watch your videos. And depending on how it does with that audience, it will then show it to more people in there and then tumble forth, right? And so for my world building content, that's great because most of the people who are watching my videos actively, right, that it's going to show this to are world builders and conlangers and all that, right? Like people who watch my world building stuff. And so then they do really well and they do well forever. But then once I put a world building video out, it gets mostly shown to world builders who are like, I don't care about the writing stuff. They don't watch it. Video doesn't ever go anywhere because, you know, it's never just shown to writers. So the goal here is to basically create two channels that have two entirely separate audiences and algorithms trained for them that will show it to the people that those videos are meant for, which will hopefully, allow me to put a lot more world building content out there that, you know, writers aren't necessarily going to be interested in that level of depth, even though I think it is all also applicable for writers. It's just, you know, the subset of writers that are super heavy world builders, and then also world builders that are not writers and they just are world builders, or they do games, or they're trying to make worlds for their conlangs or whatever, right? And then all of my writing content can be shown to writers who aren't necessarily world builders, and I can feel free to make as much content over there that I want, not having to worry about the fact that no one's going to watch it because it's not world building content, right? And there's some surprising demographic differences if I look at my videos of like the two different channels, and like I don't think this is necessarily surprising to anybody, but the AuthorTube community here on YouTube, right? The AuthorTube community implies YouTube, but it is mostly, not entirely, but like percentage-wise, like if you look at your analytic demographics on the YouTube studio, it's predominantly women, right? Within a certain age range, within certain countries, right? Like there is a demographic, right, that you would market that sort of content to, right? Because that's who most of the audience is. And the demographic for world building content is mostly men of a specific age range and of, you know, specific countries and stuff. And they're very different. Like I know there is crossover, like there's plenty of women in the world building space, obviously. And there's plenty of men in the, you know, writing space, and people of all, you know, along the scale of, you know, identities and all of that, right? Like there's a diverse people out there, but if you look at the predominant people demographically from a marketing standpoint, they're very, very different. And when I realized that, it explains so much about what is and isn't successful in each sides of the content. So like this is just going to give me a lot more room to lean into the different sides of my passions and the different sides of the content I create, and really try to make it more ideal for the people that I'm actually interacting with on those sides. And yeah, it's going to be awesome. But what is going to be on each side, right? So the things that are going to move over to my world building channel is going to be obviously my world building guide, and I have already created, or I guess downloaded and re-uploaded every single video in my world building guide over there. All the videos are still public right now on this Writes channel. They just have an updated thumbnail that shows essentially like, please watch this on the other channel. The first line in the description tries to redirect you, and there's like a little card that pops up to say, please watch this over here, right? So hopefully that'll, you know, everyone who doesn't see this will learn about it through, you know, those things, and then move to watching it over there. My plan with the world building guide is to keep it public for a little while, maybe like a month. I don't know exactly how long, at least a few weeks on this channel too. And then once the views have dropped down a lot, right, like most of the people have transitioned over to watching it off the other channel, then I'm going to unlist all the videos on this channel. I'm not going to delete them. I'm going to mark them as unlisted, so links will still work. So if there just happens to be a link to one of the videos like somewhere out there in cyberspace, like it will still work, and then hopefully redirect them to where they should watch it. And because it's unlisted, like none of that will count towards my channel anymore. It'll just be like a little background hop through, I guess. I have also moved over all of my conlanging streams and conlanging videos over to my world building channel. And that is where I'm going to be streaming for conlanging in the future. And all of those videos on the rights channel, I have also marked them just straight unlisted. They're not public anymore. The only way to find them is by having already have the link to get to them. So if they are linked for some reason, somewhere they're there. And also if I find out one of the videos I re-uploaded is wrong or something, I can just still go in and re-download it. I'll probably delete them after a few months or a year or something on this channel, but they have all been moved over. For the most part, those are the only videos I have moved over. And all those playlists have been adjusted. All the links everywhere has been updated, in theory, I think. And moving forward, any content that I do that is world building heavy, right? World building focused, so it's getting really in depth. It's stuff that's not going to appeal to the widespread author community, right? That is all going to stay on my world building channel. Anything that's not specifically about like world building for a book I'm doing or specifically for world building for authors like is going to be over here. So when I start getting into like world building food cultures and like all that stuff and like governments and all of that is going to be on the world building channel. And all of the conlanging stuff for the most part is going to be on this channel. The stuff that will still be on the rights channel that's sort of in this category will be things that are, I think, not really intended for hardcore world builders, right? So like one of the videos I have right now on the channel is one about doing enthronement ceremonies, right? So like ceremonies for people taking thrones, right? Coronations and stuff like that. And it's like an old video, right? But that's this type of world building video that I would probably keep on this channel because it's really it is really intended for writers, right? It is not super in-depth, hardcore world building stuff, right? It's, a little bit lighter, a little bit more like high concept, right? And that kind of stuff will stay over here, like that kind of fun stuff. If I do, like, I think my sword fighting stuff is all going to stay on my rights channel. So anything that's like sword fighting related, which I do have 3 videos that I've already filmed that will be coming out there at some point. But like that sort of stuff will stay on the rights channel. I do have one video I'm keeping over there in a playlist or here called Conlanging for Writers, which is an interview I did with George Corley. That's going to stay here. And if I do any videos that are like mini guides for making like super like quick and dirty naming languages, like if I do something like that for writers, not conlangers, I would put that here, right? So the goal is not just a divide in the types of content, but also a divides in who the content is intended for. And some videos might be a little like, eh. And if I really think a video has a lot of cross appeal, I will share it on the other channel just to be like, hey, just so you know, like, if you're a writer, even though this is on this channel, you might be interested in this video, right? I'll do that. And then obviously my writing channel is going to continue being like writing vlogs, my craft research, writing updates, planning my writing stories. Like there'll probably be some like map drawing or like little stuff like that, like floor plans for my scenes and like stuff like that. Anything that's like specifically about my writing projects, maybe like as I'm writing them, will be over here. So that's sort of what the divide is going to look like. But yeah, if you notice anywhere like a link that's wrong or something that looks like it was copied over wrong, just let me know. But yeah, the next month or 2 is probably going to be really rough here on my YouTube, just because I'm going to have mass unsubscribes here, a massive drop in viewership. A lot of my audience that normally watches things on this channel is suddenly not going to be anymore because all the content's going to be elsewhere, right? So like, it might be a little rough. I'm trying to mentally prepare myself for it because again, I've spent so many years building this community and I know that I'm still pretty small potatoes. Like I think I have like let's check right now so that if you're watching this and you're like, oh, well, I wonder how many she had before she started like tanking her channel, right? I currently have 6,672 total subscribers, which is not a crazy amount, but I am very proud of all those subscribers and I think they are all very like, they're very good subscribers. Like I have cultivated a very good audience here that I'm very proud of and I really enjoy, and I hope they stick around on one of the channels. And, you know, I don't know, maybe in 6 months my whole YouTube career will have completely tanked and be irreparable. But hopefully not. Hopefully not. We're not thinking about that. We're going to be optimistic. This is going to go great. You know, everyone's going to watch extra videos wherever they want to watch videos. And it's going to be fine. But yes, I think that's all I had to say right now. If you have questions about this, comment and let me know and I will get back to you. And if there are enough questions, I'll make a separate like Q&A video about it. But I think this is sufficient. And again, if you notice any problems, please let me know. Everything should be updated on both channels, should be updated on my website, MadelineJamesWrites.com. And yes, the Middle Ages video will be going live tomorrow, Thursday, and I'm very excited. It's a really good one. It is long. I apologize. It's not as bad as Rox, but it's worse than Oars. However, I think it's easier to follow. It's less like... It's just there's, like, when you're talking about empire expansion and fragmentation and the different types of patterns that you see and how, like, different polities have developed through the Middle Ages, like, it's a lot to talk about, and I think it's a good video, so, like, check it out. But, yes, that's all for me right now. I'm really excited. This is gonna be good. It's gonna be good, and I will see you in the next one, whether that's here on this channel or over on the Madeline James World Builds channel. Bye!